The views and opinions expressed by John and DJ do not reflect those of any intelligent or rational human being and are solely the property of the Brightside Chat.
This show is a proud member of the Nerdy Legion Podcast Network. Get more at nerdylegion.com. Enjoy the show.
Hey, welcome back to the Bright Side and issue number 178. Did you sense the stall there?
Yeah, you weren't quite sure.
I wasn't quite sure, and I had to find it on the page. I'm like, where did I know I wrote it? I'm like, 170. Oh, there it is, 78. Yeah, so 178. John, how are we doing this week?
Doing great, man.
Great.
I'm doing great now.
You're doing great. Yeah, now that we're standing outside your store, how is the weather outside this store today?
It's a little chillier today than normal, but still nice. Yeah, it dropped a few degrees.
Well, let's get inside where it's toasty warm.
Yeah.
And we're toasty warm.
Yep. Instantly.
Instantly toasty warm. Yeah, it's drizzly and crappy here today, so.
Is it?
Yeah. Yep.
We had that yesterday.
Yeah, I saw it. It came from you. It's all your fault.
Yeah, well, I think that's why it was a little cooler today.
There you go.
That yesterday.
There you go. So what's going on in the store today? You had a busy day because we are recording much later than usual. So
yeah, just
is that good news or bad news? Oh,
well,
late
UPS and a lot of books. Couldn't get an early start on it because Penguin. I only got 2 out of the 5 boxes yesterday, so I had to wait for today for the rest. So
yeah,
I couldn't really get a jump on that because normally I have Lunar and Random House done before, just in time for Diamond to show up, and then we do that and we're done. But kind of had to do it all after 2:30 today.
Yeah.
And then it was a little busier today. Not like crazy, but for a Tuesday it was steady. So customers coming in kind of interrupts the flow a little bit, and it was just a little bit long, but it's all good.
Yep.
Need to make that money, so.
Need to make that money. Yeah. Hey, it's all part of doing business. Good days, bad days. Unfortunately, all your good days are when you're not there.
I know. Well, that's not 100% accurate, actually.
Oh, really?
Because
did you have a good Saturday and you were there?
No, I took the day off because I was sick.
Oh.
And didn't have a great Saturday.
Oh.
So
that's too bad.
That's not necessarily better, but it doesn't prove my hypothesis. So,
John, does that validate you?
Yeah, it does not. I would rather have had a great day and proven my point, but
because then you retire to Aruba and leave the store open.
Exactly. But it was a moderate day, and I was not there, so not always true. I found.
Well,
we'll see how it goes when I'm on vacation. That'll be the trick.
Oh.
Because I'll be gone for 12 days, actually. So,
oof.
Yeah.
You'll be able to retire when you get home.
I know, right? I might not come home.
I know. Well, the way the airlines are going right now, you might not.
Right. Well, that's true, too.
It's like I was supposed to go to Colorado for hockey, USA Hockey. It was my 10-year anniversary at the job that I'm in with USA Hockey, and they fly you out and you get an award at the banquet and the whole 9. I went 5 years ago for my 5-year one. I took Joe with me and we had a blast. Actually, when we were out there, we actually his friend that came over, this kid Sam, was from Slovakia. He came over. He was over here in high school for a exchange student, played hockey over here with Joe. He happened to be over in Colorado at a camp, like a retreat type camp, working.
Right.
Because he wanted to get back into and come back over as an exchange thing. So he was there at the time, and we were like, we drove the 2 hours over to see him, and he hadn't seen him in a couple of years. But so I was invited back this year, and I was like, Jen really wanted to go, and it would have been a great opportunity to go. But then I'm like, with the schedule, I'm like, I don't have, like, when I'm not at work, it's guaranteed I make no money, right? I'm a one-man show. So if I get laid up for 2 days, if something happens with the flights and they're like, sorry, we can't get you. I'm like, I'm here and all this stuff. I'm like, I would be stressed from now until it's at the beginning of June. I'm like, I'd be stressed from now until June. Am I going to make it home in time? Is this going to happen? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, forget it. So I just said no. And I'm like, as soon as I said no, I was disappointed to say no. But as soon as I did, I was like,
You're relieved.
Like, it's like, I mean, we'd all rather do something else than go to work. But when I go to work, at least I know I'm working. Right. You're relaxed. Like, oh, okay. I'm making money. I'm working.
Well,
phew.
I won't cry too hard if I get stuck a couple of extra days.
Oh, right.
But.
And believe me,
not that it's cheap.
Yeah.
But.
I don't feel sorry for myself. Today it rained, so I was home. So there's pros and cons to both of our jobs, right? So I can't schedule something like that, but I get a lot more days off than most people because I work by the weather.
Right. So just not always in a row.
Right. Yeah, they're not in a row, and they're not like, I can't plan anything for it. It's like, John, I'll shoot down there next time we get a 3-day rainstorm.
Right.
Oh, okay, Deej.
Sure.
Hopefully
let me write that in my calendar.
Yeah, exactly.
Where's my farmer's almanac?
Yeah.
So I can check that out.
No problem.
But you see, kids, a farmer's almanac is what you used to be able to look at to predict the weather patterns in the future.
For the next year, yes.
Because probably nobody knows what that is.
What a Falmers. I can't even say.
I don't know what that is either, but.
Yeah. Post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Remember that episode?
I do.
Oh, it's so easy to say now that I don't care if I screw it up. It's like, it's like, all right. Very short. The streak almost ended, John. It almost ended.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So let's get to mailbag.
We need to get some people chirping.
I know. Well, John, you're pretty good at that. Why don't you piss somebody off?
Well, yeah. Well, I'm really good at that, but well, that takes it down a notch because that's my specialty.
Well, now you want me to focus it elsewhere?
I've got so much practice with that I can do it in my sleep.
The worst is when the two of us get going because we're too much alike.
I know.
We've done it with other people around, and they're like, that's why you're in Texas. That's
right.
All right.
As close as we can be.
Yeah, exactly. We tried Virginia. No, didn't work.
Yeah, didn't work. It was too close.
Yeah, it was too close. Michael on YouTube. Great banter this week. I don't know what we said, but it was great, John.
Awesome.
Love.
And that was last show?
That was last show. Oh, yeah, sorry. This is for, 177. See, there, I could have told you. This is 178 because last week's was 177. Love the Adam Project talk, too. Keep up the great work. Keep up the great work, fellas. Really appreciate the show. So, on YouTube. And I wonder if he's new because we did pick up a new YouTube follower. So that was pretty cool.
We're up to like a dozen now? Like
no,
baker's dozen maybe?
No, yeah, we're a couple bakers.
No, we're at like what, 40 or something?
41 now.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that.
Look at that.
And we doubled our viewership from the week before.
So too?
Hey, let's not get into details.
Right.
Crazy talk like that.
I'm like Netflix. I don't give out my metrics.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. Exactly. We'll get into
because when I do, my stock plummets by 25%.
I know. We'll get into a little bit of that. So nice segue there. But before we get into that, if you'd like to be part of Mailbag and keep the streak alive, you can reach us at brightside_chat or at Arkham Comics with an X, both on Twitter. You can email us.
If you like the banter, fuel it, people.
Fuel it. Fuel it. Yeah. I mean, we went, almost 4 years without doing Mailbag at all? So,
Yeah, we do.
I mean, we're fine without it, but
we can make do. But
now it
gives us something.
Yeah,
it gives me something to talk about that I wasn't expecting. You usually have seen all those things. A lot of times you're getting sprung on me in the show. So,
and some of them are directly to you.
I know.
I didn't see that one, John. That was me talking to you. Yeah, we'll start including our personal text to each other in mailbag.
Yeah, there you go.
So on Tuesday.
Well, that'll be. I'll be good every week.
Yeah. Exactly. All right.
We go through 4 texts in a minute.
Yeah. All right. You ready to get to breaking news?
Yes. Now I
am. There we go. All right. We got some really exciting Sony news coming up. Sony announces 3 new projectors. Oh, sorry. I am excited about that.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have to look at those.
3 new laser projectors. They threw the gloves off. So they're going head to head with JVC. Nice. I haven't heard. Obviously, it's too early to tell. This is a little home theater segue here, but it was Sony that we were going to talk about anyways. But who knows if their tone mapping and everything is going to be equal to JVC? But their laser HDR projectors. So I'm really excited for it. I don't think I'm going to get one because the lower end model doesn't have. It's all manual adjustments. So yeah, I'm going back. The one I have now, I can adjust with the remote and stuff. It's a lot nicer.
Right.
I'll wait to get the middle of the road one that has the remote adjustments and everything for focus and lens shift and all that. But yeah. Anyways, so yeah, super exciting news for that. Can't wait for that. But this is not. See, I'm trying to open on a positive here, John.
Trying
to cheer you up because this is not. This is disappointing. I don't know. You and I, we kind of yelled at each other, but not yelling at each other, yelling at Sony. But go ahead.
Right. Well, yeah, Sony has moved into the Spider-Verse 2 from November or October or November of this year, whichever it was, I don't remember, to June of 2023. So essentially now 14 months from now. This is, so frustrating because this movie was ready to go for October. You know what I mean? There's no reason that no reason was given for one by them. So we don't know why they're doing it. But there's no way that they just misscheduled their production by 9 months on this animated movie, you know, and just said, oh my God, we're not going to be ready for 9 more months. You know? So, I don't know what's going on with
maybe it's a moves. Supply chain.
Everybody's doing it,
and the red pencils are out.
Oh, maybe
it's they ran out of red colored pencils, and they're working on the art, and they're like, we need more red. I know I'm having that issue at work. There's different paint. Literally, I'm not even joking. There's literally colors of paint that have issues. Luckily, I don't paint. I don't use colors that much. I use colors, but that much of a specific color, so I'm fine. It doesn't affect me. But there is but that would be funny. This is dumb. Well, this is dumb.
Yeah, this is just dumb. But yes, of course there are many supply chain issues, but I don't think this falls. This is all computer rendered, so not much falls into that for this. But
they use computers now.
Yeah, imagine. But I think we talked about this, or maybe I talked about it with somebody else. But it's now gotten to be just too easy for them to move things because every studio's doing it. The Flash is, we just talked about the Flash getting moved, a couple weeks ago.
Well, that's because Ezra Miller keeps picking fights.
Well, yeah, that it might get moved again, but
they're just trying to separate themselves from his fights.
Disney's pushing movies left and right. Now Sony's doing it. Like I said, whatever they're doing with the Flash is going to affect Batgirl and other things that hinge off of the back of the Flash. So yeah, I don't know. It's really frustrating. And it's not like we have like a ton of things in the theaters right now. Like we're kind of going from release to release,
Right.
like one movie at a time. It's not an influx of things coming out. So,
But
I don't know. Yeah.
Is that a perception thing? I mean, I'm sure it's down from pre-pandemic, but I think it's also I know for me, and that's why I'm asking you. I know for me it is, because there are movies in the theaters that I just won't. We have become so accustomed in the last 2 years to watching stuff at home that if it's just anything other than a blockbuster, I'll wait. I'm just not going.
It could be that like I would have to look at a month to month kind of release schedule from pre and post pandemic to know if they're down significantly or not. But yeah, I guess I was a little bit quicker just to jump and go see any movie a couple of years ago.
Right.
Whereas
exactly.
now,
You drive by
like
the
I said,
theater and be
maybe
like, oh, that sounds interesting. And you'd go.
Just pull in and
Right. And be like, oh, I'll make plans for that. What was the one that just came out this week that you talked about last week? Did you get to see it?
Well, I wanted to go see, no, because I was sick. I got sick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I started getting sick on Thursday around lunchtime. And luckily I hadn't bought the tickets yet. I was just going to buy them, on the way there. But yeah, The Northman, which like I said, I do still want to see. Mm-hmm. But, I was sick off and on all through the weekend, so I didn't go Sunday. I didn't go Thursday. If I expect to be better by this Thursday. So
yeah,
I'll probably try to go check it out Thursday. But yeah, it is also one that, if I go another week without seeing it, then I will be at the point where I'll just throw my hand up and say, I'll just catch it on HBO,
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. It's like The Northman actually, I got a little bit of a tickle to go. Like, that was one I had zero interest for, but I was reading some of the stuff online. It is meant to be seen on a big screen. I heard it has great sound and blah, blah. And I was very close, but here's the thing. We're so busy in our lives. I don't think I'm any more busy now than I was 5 years ago or whatever, but you just don't make that time anymore because we're so accustomed to being like, you know what? I'll get it in my, and I had a theater 5 years ago. I had a system that I have now. So it's not that I've developed that. I have to imagine there are a lot of people that have systems much better than they had pre-pandemic because they got stuck at home. Yeah, but you were into it though. But I mean,
I was into it, but I didn't have
home theater.
I didn't have it until I left your house. Honestly, when I left your house, I started buying this stuff.
Right.
So
you're welcome,
Lydia. Yeah. So when you're listening back to this tomorrow, Lydia,
right,
you can blame TJ.
Well, hey, I've got closets full of comics now, so I think we're kind of even.
Right. There you go.
So that I didn't have, when I left your house.
Right.
I hadn't collected comics in years. Thing, so we are kind of, going into debt because of each other. But no, but you know what I mean? So like society is taking a different look at home entertainment. Okay.
Right.
And I think, that's why it's just become easy because we don't care. And it's not like we're going to say when Spider-Man comes out or Across the Spider-Verse comes out, it's not like we're going to say, well, now I'm not going to see it because they made me angry. No, we'll still go see it. So there's no penalty for them. But before, I think other than Wonder Woman 1984, they were always like, we want to be the next one. We've got to get the next one out. So there was a need to get more content out, where now I feel like it's just as easy for them to push it and they don't care. And it's too bad too for us. Cause like you said,
it is.
Nothing is really getting us. It really hurts the theaters at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure.
Cause we have plenty of content, but it really hurts the theaters. So.
Right. But our content is at home, like you said. So we've got plenty
Right.
of stuff to watch, but
Right.
it's like it's not taking us out to those theaters to see it.
I mean, we have so much stuff to watch that one, I can't keep up, and even you
Right.
fall behind.
I
Even
can't
you
keep
been
up.
like,
I've still
you
got a
can't keep
list.
up, and jeez.
Yeah, and I watch a lot. You
Yeah,
know,
you
no doubt. I don't make any secret of it. I watch a lot, but
I
yeah,
aspire
even
to
I've got
be
a
you,
list
John.
of stuff. Well, stop watching Star Wars and Batman. You can be me.
But yeah, if you stop watching the same goddamn thing all the time,
Right.
we actually watch the same amount of. We sit in front
We
of the
do.
TV the
I
same
think-
amount of time. No, we definitely
I think we
don't.
do. No, I don't think we do. You probably don't sit as much as I do, but
Yeah.
but again, we consume differently.
Right.
So
Yep. Yes, we do. But yeah, so all right. That's good. That's the first piece of news.
that's the first one. Yeah. So in the next one, this one is really a bummer for me because I was looking forward to this. But Netflix has canceled the Bone animated series. They've actually canceled like their whole animated division. Most of this is in the wake of their announcement last week of pretty big subscriber losses. And so I guess it's Bone's fault.
Yeah.
You know?
They just, you and I talked about it last week. I talked about it with Braden Russell on my other podcast last week. And we both talked about it before this happened.
Right.
And I actually was listening to a separate podcast this past week, and they said what you and I said about the Ponzi scheme. Like that's exactly what Netflix is doing. They're shuffling money, but they just can't keep it up. And they need to find a way to stop the hemorrhaging. And I mean, obviously this is one of them. Stop making so much. You can't just keep throwing crap against the wall because people aren't going to pay for it anymore.
I almost agree, because I read an article this week that I hadn't considered as one of the reasons why people, because everybody's saying it's password sharing, and that's the biggest reason
that's a
why.
lie.
Password sharing, and then the increase in subscription costs, which is definitely a thing because they keep raising prices, but they don't believe enough in the shows that they produce.
That too.
Because this article I read listed about 10 different shows that I've watched almost all of that they didn't finish. Like they give them a season, two seasons, and they don't finish the story. And there's big petitions to bring some of these shows back, like the OA and Archive 81, which is one that I watched and talked about, and Marco Polo is another one that I watched and talked about. That you get invested in these shows for a year or two, and then they leave you hanging, and then they never come back.
Right.
And I mean, I know this happens on network TV to some degree as well, but it feels like not as much. Like a network show, a lot of them get canceled after a season, but a lot of shows go 5, 6, 7, 8 years before you even realize it. Like I was watching The Good Doctor the other night, and it popped up like season 5, episode 3, and I'm like, I've already been watching this for 5 years. It feels like it just started yesterday.
Right.
And so it's subscriber confidence as well. Like, why do I want to get involved in another new show on Netflix that's not named Stranger Things? Because it's going to get canceled before I get the end of the story. Right. So they don't necessarily need to stop producing all content. And, again, we don't know the reasons why things get canceled because they don't share any numbers with us.
Money.
But
they don't have the funds. That's the thing. It's like you and I have talked about it. They are the only streaming service that isn't under an umbrella. They have no other income other than the subscribers. Right?
So I guess my question then is like, why hasn't Elon Musk bought Netflix? Like Amazon didn't buy Prime. They started it. Like Apple started their own. But like, Time Warner or Discovery basically bought
the
HBO.
same reason he doesn't buy Brightside Chat. There's no money in it. Why would you buy
maybe there
something that's
could be.
hemorrhaging money? But there isn't, though. But see, the thing is it's like Amazon started Prime because it's just fun. They just wanted to do that, right? Amazon started out as a bookstore, and then they just kept adding on, right? But they're buying content. They're putting content on. If it went away, who cares? I don't think they even care. They're making so much money elsewhere that
they could care less.
They couldn't care. They might be losing money at the subscriber or at the content game, but the idea that you're getting both from the two of them allows you to say, all right, yeah, I'll do Amazon Prime for what is it now, $120 a year or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, 120, 130, something like that.
But a lot of people started on Amazon Prime for free because they were already getting Amazon Prime before all of that content even existed, right?
Right.
So that comes off as free to us. And it was like, oh, I always had it just for the free delivery. Okay, cool. And now I'm getting content too. All right. You and I talk about it all the time. They have some of the worst streaming statistics. They're so inconsistent. They're talking about quality wise. You're like, they don't really care. They're just putting it out there. They have some great content, but they just put it out and hope for the best. And if it makes it, it makes it. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Disney Plus, it's all paid for by the time we see it on Disney Plus.
Right.
It's all extra for them. Apple TV,
I don't know,
it's Apple. It's all paid for. They
I feel like if I was the CEO of my own business and I lost $1 trillion a year, I would get fired. So like, why isn't Netflix making changes? I guess that's the question, right?
That's the thing. It's
there's going to be a bursting point where you can't keep raising prices anymore.
You and I have said it
people
for a
aren't
while.
going to pay it.
We said it a month ago. You and I. Are we seeing the demise of Netflix? And people laughed. And I've said it to other people outside of the podcast, and they're like, no, they'll never go away. And Braden and I talked about it last week, and it was before all this came out, and I said the exact same thing to him that you and I talked about. And he was like, no, they'll do this, and then that happens, and he was like, oh, man, we talked separately too.
Yeah,
but the thing is, I don't think I think they will shift. They're too big. They'll have to shift. I don't think they're going to die and go away. But it is a possibility if they don't make some big changes.
Well, the thing is, will they ever go away? I don't know. Ask Blockbuster or Hollywood Video or Sears or JCPenney's. Like, lots of big names go away, and nobody's too big to fail. But the thing is, I don't care what streamer you talk about, nobody has more worldwide recognition than Netflix. So, like, the structure is there if somebody could just figure out a way to
the bigger they are, the harder they fall. They could start sell, and I think how much of that, all of that content on all these other streamers that came out started pulling their content back. How much did that hurt them?
Well, that definitely hurts.
I mean, all that Daredevil, all of that, Netflix paid Marvel to have that right to be able to make that. And they put out this great content, and now Disney Plus exists, and they're like, we want that back. And they're left with what? They have good content, don't get me wrong, but it's going to be harder and harder for them to keep attracting the Ryan Reynolds types in those movies and keep making those movies. And that's why I put it out. I'm like, do they eventually start trying to release stuff to the theaters? Netflix production company, put it in the theater for a couple months, then go to Netflix. And you know what? People keep telling me, well, why would I go and see it in the theater when I know it's going to be on Netflix in a month? I don't know. Why the hell did $800 billion worth of people go and see the Batman a month before it came out?
Yeah.
People forget we're already doing it. If it's good
and
stuff,
I don't think they can do it with everything.
No.
But they can do it with, like, they could put the Adam Project out there in the theaters.
Adam Project Part 2 could go to the theaters.
No doubt.
At least make its money back. And then that would answer, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be a blockbuster. It doesn't have to be Endgame and do $1 billion. It could just make its money back. Do $150 million in the box office in a month and a half.
Right.
That would save the company. Then it would all be free content by the time it got to us. And they'd have the subscriptions.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, if it didn't work, every other streamer wouldn't be doing it. Netflix is the only streamer that really doesn't do that.
Right.
Well, I guess Amazon Prime doesn't really do it either. But like HBO Max, it's theater first. Disney Plus, it's theater first. You got to take the pandemic stuff out of it because that's an aberration. It's not the norm.
Here's the other thing is one of the things that Netflix would have going for it. You put out the Adam Project, say. Adam Project 2. Just because it's off the top of our head right now, and it's one that they could actually bill as something to go to the theaters. What do we all say when we see it in the theater? We can't wait to get it at home on disc. I can't wait to see this again at home. I can't wait to...
Right.
Well, the only place you're going to be able to see it's on Netflix. It's not going to go to disc. It's going to go to the theaters. Right. See it on the big screen instead of on your laptop or telephone or whatever. Right. And be able to see the Adam Project on a big screen. Yay! Right. People would do it. And they would make their money
like I said,
back.
We've been doing it since the invention of HBO like 50 years ago.
Right.
Like HBO's been around a long time. It's not a new thing. We've been going to the movies the whole time. It's,
right.
Nobody just waited until it hit HBO
right.
to see things. Like, sure, some people did. There's some people that just never went to the movies and always watch things at home. But yeah, you can't say, well, why would I go see it in the theater? Because we've been doing it our whole lives.
Right.
But
but not with
always
Netflix.
Gets to TV eventually.
Right.
Not with Netflix, but we've been doing it. It's not a new thing. We've been doing it our whole lives.
Right.
So if the content was good and they said, hey, I would have done it with Amazon Prime too. If you throw the Tomorrow War into the theater, I would have gone. Yeah. I'd still go if you do it now. And I've seen it twice already. But I would still go see that in the theater.
You know what Ara said on his podcast talking about this? And he's like, because Braden mentioned to him that I mentioned going into the theaters with Netflix content. And Ara's like, I don't know if the theaters would allow it because they're angry because Netflix for a long time, for years, was like, don't go to the theaters, stay at home, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I said to Ara, personally, talking to him, I said, Ara, the theaters are in just as much trouble. They can't be angry.
I was like,
you're starving and somebody wants to hand you a sandwich. You don't go, well, you didn't offer me one before.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like the 40-year-old virgin turning down a date, right? It's like, I'm not that proud.
Because, what if Netflix started putting out like Stranger Things in the theater first?
Right.
Episode 1 this week. That would make money. That would make money. If all of a sudden you went to the theaters to go and see a Stranger Things episode. You know how many you could crank out hourly?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Or even just do it like they drop it. Like, hey, here's the first 2 episodes as a movie. Go home and watch the rest. Or,
drop 2 episodes every 2 weeks. You can go to the theater and see one, and you could go right to the next screening if you want. You offer a bargain. You pay $20, you see both, or it's $12.50 to see one. Right. Whatever. I don't know. But there's ways to pay for this content, help out the theaters, and help out your streaming service. And if you don't want to go through all that and experience Stranger Things on the big screen, wait and see it at home. Either way, that's where you're going to see it anyways. But there's a million ways to do this. And I mean, we're just 2 dumbass podcasters. What the hell do we know? I wouldn't even call us podcasters. We're just 2 dumbasses.
Yeah.
All right. So
speaking of dumbass, no.
So what was that? That was
I didn't say that.
That was only news item 2.
Yeah, we were worried about having enough banter.
Holy crap!
So
what's up next? I
Jason
love this
Momoa.
guy. I love this guy.
Is in talks to star in the upcoming Minecraft movie. Not much to really discuss here. Jason
Other than
Momoa
that, we got to chain him to Ezra Miller.
Yeah. Well, he's almost the new Rock at this point, right? He's going to be in everything. So
Yeah.
I guess he could be the Block if he's going to be in the Minecraft movie.
Oh,
But
look at you. You've been working on that one all week?
just a couple days.
Just a couple days.
But yeah, he's getting to be pretty prolific himself. He's taking a lot of roles. But
great
I don't know that the
personality.
Minecraft movie is for me necessarily.
Yeah.
But
I don't even know what it is. So
I don't either.
I know the
I don't
term
know anything about the
Minecraft.
game.
It's the game. I know it's a game.
I know
all
that
but
yeah, I know it exists. I don't know anything else about it. But
Right.
but yeah, just hey, Jason Momoa needs the work, so good on him.
yeah. But yeah, no, I love him. I love it. Him and The Rock. It's funny you mention him, but they both have great personalities. You don't care how many times you see them, whether it's in the theater or in the news. They're just great people, just fun, entertaining people, regardless, right? And then, I mean, yeah, okay. He'll bring people. I'll go see the Minecraft just because he's in it. I don't even know what
I'll
it
probably
is,
see it
right?
too. Yeah, I don't either. But
all right.
all right. Next up, Sony has announced two more movies that they'll move several times before we get to see them.
Coming in 2042.
Yeah. Venom 3 and Ghostbusters 4 were both announced at CinemaCon this week, among other things. So I think we were pretty sure we were getting a Venom 3. Ghostbusters 4. I still haven't seen Ghostbusters Afterlife yet, so I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Really good.
I don't know how that sets up another sequel, but I'm sure they could figure it out.
Yes, definitely could.
All right. And
not
then,
too crazy about the Venom 3 one, but okay.
I'm not either, based on the Venom 2 that we got, but I'm not surprised that they're making it.
No,
they've
kind
of
not
been
with the
teasing it
Spider-Verse that they're developing.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
That's about the only exciting news about it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And then finally, the Batgirl movie, which was being made specifically for HBO Max, is now reportedly being considered for a theatrical release by the
Netflix?
new after the Discovery merger. Yeah. And the new CEO there.
Yeah.
So I think that's awesome. Like Batgirl, I think needs a theatrical release. Like this is a character that shouldn't be relegated to just HBO Max.
Yeah.
And nothing against HBO Max. I love it, and I think they have a place for original content. But this is a big character, and I think she should get her movie. Now, again, this movie takes place after The Flash, so when that would happen is anybody's guess, because this movie is done. I mean, they're done filming at least. I'm sure they're still in post-production, but
are they? For the Batgirl?
They're definitely done filming.
I didn't know that.
The actress posted something a while back that they had wrapped. But like I said, I'm sure there's a year's worth of post-production that goes into these things. But it doesn't matter because we're never going to get The Flash. So they got all the time in the world to work on this movie.
When did that get delayed to? The Flash?
The Flash? I think that's also like June of next year, if I'm not mistaken. And again, who knows?
Yeah, it's hard to keep track with all these delays.
Yeah. And with Ezra Miller and his crazy head, I don't know if I think they're probably done filming that too. So his part of it is probably done anyways. But I mean, if he's like killing people in Hawaii, he's definitely not still filming The Flash. So
he's not killing anybody, at least that I know of yet. But
well, yeah,
I think it's funny.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I know. I think it's funny that people they don't want to support. Like they'll be like, "Oh, I don't want to support him by going to see that movie." I'm like, oh.
I'm kind of I'm on the fence. I'm getting closer to.
Yeah, but I don't even
just
think
not
I'm
wanting to bother.
By buying a ticket, I don't think I don't think it's money in his pocket. He's been paid. I mean, he might have a contract that has like some residuals, but
yeah,
I don't know. You don't know. Not everybody gets that, like what we went through with Scarlett Johansson and everything.
Right.
That not everybody has that in their contract, but we just assume. For all we know, he's been paid. It's done. Who knows? I don't know. And I don't even think about it. It doesn't, he didn't kill anybody. He didn't do anything. It's like, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I try not to think, because believe me, 50 years ago, if we knew what was going on, we'd never see any of these movies.
Again, you have to try to separate art from artist, because there's lots of things that you would be cut off from at this point based on things you know about people.
Yeah.
But
your ear.
But going into it new things, I won't support new things by some of these people anymore, I don't know. It's a slippery slope, but
yep.
Anyway.
But all right. That's that for the news. All right, you ready to get to checkout?
I am.
Oh, okay. All right, what did we spend our money on last week?
All right.
I'm going to have to come
First book we have
spoilers. I'm going to have to come up with a title.
Yeah. Vampire Slayer, issue number 1 from Boom Studios. Written by Sarah Gailey, art by Irene Flores, cover art by Goni Montes. I can't tell you how much I disliked this book.
Why don't you try, John?
This book, well, first of all, it wasn't what it's not what it says it is, because this was supposed to be, according to the tagline, a bold new story in a new universe begins. This was just exactly Buffy the Vampire Slayer, except if Willow was the Slayer instead of Buffy. Like, nothing else was different. Every character was exactly the same, except Buffy and Willow switched places, and Willow became the Slayer. So there was nothing new or exciting about this. It didn't build up at all to who this new Slayer was, because you found out on page 1. And then in the first issue of the book called Vampire Slayer, they fought the king of the vampires, do you think? No, a crab. Like,
John, Buffy got crabs.
Yes.
Big ones.
I like, this was such a cheap, lazy letdown. Like, there was nothing new or original about this story at all. They just swapped 2 characters and call it like a bold new story in a new universe. Like, there was nothing bold or new about it.
Did they say bold?
Well, that's what it says. That's what it says. I have written here. Okay. A bold new story in a new universe begins, by Hugo Award-winning author Sarah Gailey. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the point of this was. And then on top of all of that, the writing was just super childish, I thought.
I think it's one of 2.
It doesn't.
I thought
it doesn't say here, so I'm not sure. I just have number 1, meaning it might be an ongoing thing. I don't know, but I won't be following up on it at all. And again, I like Buffy, but this was just nothing different. Like, it was just Buffy with a different person being Buffy. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, a bold new story in a new universe. Like, introduce some new characters and do something different. And then at least fight a vampire in the number 1 issue of your Vampire Slayer comic book.
Right.
And then, like I said, on top of it all, it was just kind of childish. The jokes weren't that funny.
I'll get controversial with you for a second. This ought to bring in some. This will bring in some comments. It won't, but. So, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, when that first came out, from what I knew of the show and everything, it was revolutionary at the time, because it had a strong female lead, right?
Well, that, and it was the first show to introduce, like, the concept of the big bad,
Okay, what's that?
Like a villain that
I know what it is, but what do you mean?
That you would spend the entire season developing.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? Like, that was the first show that ever really did that.
Right. It wasn't episodic incidents. It was an entire season of anthology.
Or multiple seasons. Yeah. In some cases, like building up this antagonist that you spent the the whole time battling.
Right. And
So yes, this show was very revolutionary.
but what I was saying about having a strong female lead in that role, I think the bold new thing nowadays would have been to make the Vampire Slayer a guy.
Right.
Because all the other characters are going the other way. We're taking all of the characters and they're making female versions of like Ghostbusters, like we said earlier. They're doing this, and it's like to actually go in the other direction would have been the bold step that everybody's like, oh, what do you know how much flack they would have gotten for that? You took the one strong female lead that we've had for you, but that's what the definition of bold is. That's how you do that, is you get people riled up. But all they did was they just left her as another. It was just another Vampire Slayer. So there is nothing bold. Buffy used to be bold when it was bold to have Buffy being Buffy, but it's not anymore. And it's like, as somebody that didn't watch the show, didn't read it or anything beforehand, I didn't even find this to be like interesting. Period. Like, I was just like, oh, okay, they're hunting a crab. I didn't get that. I was hoping you could shed some light on that. Like, is that something in the vampire universe?
I don't remember a big crab. I said, there was definitely other villains besides vampires in the show. Now, again, it was primarily vampires, but there were werewolves. There was other things that cropped up. But in your issue 1 of your bold new direction, you should introduce a vampire antagonist to the story, not a giant crab. That for some reason reacted to the amulet she was wearing, and like I don't even know.
And call it a day.
I don't know why any of that stuff was happening. Like, now I do think what. No, actually, I'm sorry. That's the next book we're going to talk about. So I'm not even going to bring that. I'm not going to go any further with that. Yeah, it's just not good. Not good. Yeah, not good. So,
all right.
I wouldn't again, even if you're a huge, I wouldn't say I was a huge Buffy fan, but I enjoyed it. But this did nothing for me. So, like, even if you're a big Buffy reader or fan, I don't think this book is going to do anything for you. So,
all right.
All right.
Swing and a miss. 0 for 1.
Swing and a miss.
All right. Here comes the next pitch. What do we got next?
Next up is also from Boom Studios. It's Magic Hidden Planeswalkers. This was issue number 1 of 4 issues.
John, can I open with, before we get to who it's written by, can I open with, I liked Buffy better.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't say that. But
you kind of railed on Buffy, but
but I will say, after I talk about Mairghread Scott as the writer and Fabiana Mascolo as the artist, I will say I didn't like this one all that much either. The point I was going to make a minute ago that I realized pertained to this one was that this one is playing off the events of the other ongoing series that's taking place. Mm-hmm. So part of what's happening here, if you haven't been reading the other series, which I haven't, you're not going to be up on all the events here. But yeah, this, again, I was familiar with all of the characters and the events and places that were that were happening here. I know who Liliana Vess is, and all of that stuff. And it's cool to read about those things that were just cards that you played in a game, so that part of it is interesting to me because I do like the world of Magic the Gathering and the characters that are in it. But this book overall, I just didn't find that interesting either. It was really weird to me that they built up they spent like the first, third of the book building up this villain, the Mairghread, which, like, they all had to get together. It was going to take her out of her retirement, where she was now teaching instead of planeswalking, and she's going to go back into fighting because this threat is so severe. And Like, it wrapped up quicker than Trigon in season 2 of Titans. Like, they literally, I didn't even know they were fighting the Mairghread, and they had already beaten it. So I don't know what happened there. And then the rest of the book went in another direction. So I was like, okay, is she going back to teaching now? Like, what happened?
Right.
It was so weird. Like, it was like this 8 or 9 page build up to literally nothing, and then it went somewhere else. So it was very choppy, really inconsistent, and again, even if you're a Magic player or fan, this didn't do enough for me on that realm either. So I probably liked it a little bit better than Buffy, but not significantly better.
I actually understood Buffy. I didn't understand a damn thing in this. And to me, as I'm reading it, I'm like, I know that it's part of the magic world and stuff like that, but that's the game, right? So there's a whole universe here. There's a whole other entity to go along with this. Am I wrong in thinking that this was like, it's so stupid for them to stay within their universe and not try to put out a book that is coherent to somebody new and maybe get them into this universe and attract them to be like, this was really good. Like, and I know this is a big stretch because what kind of angered me about this was it's so full of itself. Like, all right, this is for somebody that's in the magic world. Read this book and blah, blah, blah. And okay. But if you're not in it and you pick up a number 1, you're screwed. And because it's so full of itself, there's nothing here as somebody that's not in the world, they're talking about, I had no idea what they were talking about. There's no explanation. There's no nothing. And I'm like, at the end of it, I was like, how are they attracting more people into this? I mean, are they just depending on you to play the game and then want to read the comics? And not go the other direction?
I think that goes back to what I said earlier, where this spins out of another book that's already going on. So I think...
But we've done that in the past, where it gets you to go back and read another book. And you and I have raved about books that have done that, where you're like, I never read the other thing. Like, how many times over the last 4 years have you and I read books where you read everything and I hadn't read a thing, and I'm like, I love this because it made me want to go back and get into something, right? Like Spawn, for instance. King Spawn was so good that we were like, that event that they had, you were like, this is awesome. It got me back in. Now, I knew who Spawn was, much like I know what magic is. I don't know who the characters are. But they did nothing here. They were so full of their world that they're like, oh, if you don't know what this is, well, then, oh, well. Yeah. And that to me is like a missed opportunity, isn't it?
It's a missed opportunity. I think they're probably thinking that the only people buying this book are the ones that are reading the other series already.
Why.
And yes, that's probably short-sighted because, a lot of people will pick up a new number 1 just because of that.
Yeah.
And not even know that there was another Magic series that took place or is going on right now. So I think you have to do a little bit of that to pull people into this world and do some explanation. Yeah. But they were probably thinking that this was only going to be read by people that were reading the other book.
Right. Well, think of how many Dune comics are being sold because of the movie that just came out. How many times have we seen, how many people have gone back and watched the old Dune movie because of the movie that came out? The book, all of this stuff, it's all part of itself. If you make something that is that enticing, is that engaging, you just crave more information. This one here, this book here did the exact opposite. It kind of was like, as I'm reading it, it kind of laughed in your face like, oh, if you don't know what this is, oh, well. Instead of helping you out and explaining it and making you want to get more, it had a few of those sites in it. You understood it.
Maybe, like you said, yeah, my experience is different than yours because I didn't have that, like, because I did understand it. So but I can't discount what you're saying because this is what happened to you. So
Right.
I imagine that other people that are coming to it fresh might, like I said, they might feel the same. I don't know
Right.
because
Or I'm
we don't
dumb and they
experience
got
the
it
same
and loved
way,
it,
but-
and now they're Magic players. I don't know, but that's
But
how
you
I
could
felt.
take the thing that's frustrating about it is this is such, and the similar could be said for Buffy too. Really, is like Magic is such a interesting world, that it deserves new people to be brought into it.
Yeah.
That aren't necessarily interested in playing the game. But does this damage you from ever wanting to look at it again? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so maybe when they do because you could say the same thing about like Vox Machina with Dungeons and Dragons. You don't know anything about D&D either, but you read Vox Machina and you enjoyed that.
I
because
did. I did.
It was fun and it explained itself. So
Right.
maybe when they do the animated Magic the Gathering show on Amazon Prime or whatever, like, does this now like turn people off of it? And that would be a shame if it does, because like I said, this is a good world and it's got good characters. But I think bad product can actually damage the IP. Instead,
Well, yeah, exactly. And
So.
that's it's because Oh, all right. I don't like doing that.
Yeah, I don't either. And like I said, we talked about this last week. Neither one of these were like the books that we would have gone out of our way to choose to talk about this week.
No, but
that sometimes happens, because even when we get to coming up next week, there's nothing. Like, there is a literal like dearth of product coming out over the next couple of weeks. Like, the last 3 FOCs for Marvel have had 4 books on them. So there is like nothing coming out. And
even
it's
on
getting
Marvel
harder
with
and harder.
Star Wars and stuff, because it's Star Wars Day.
It's getting harder and
Right.
harder to find books to talk about or at least to find 2 books to talk about every week.
Yeah, next
So-
Wednesday is the 4th. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
Star Wars Day. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Yeah, that's very surprising. They don't have anything big coming next week.
Now, this week was the next couple of weeks are fine, but it's the next few after that, because it's
Okay.
the last 3 FOCs that we've done. So coming up like 3 weeks from now and 4 and 5 weeks from now, there's like hardly any Marvel. It's all being pushed. Even the Marvel previews, like this, it was like half the size of the normal issue this month. So
Okay.
they're not even soliciting the same number of books for July that they have been. And I think part of it's the paper shortage, because they got slammed pretty hard for some of the quality of paper they used a few weeks ago on some of their books, which was like basically just newsprint on the outside.
Yeah.
It was really, really bad stuff. And these books, like, I've got them on my shelves now. They just flop. They won't even stay up on their own. Like, they're just flopping over. The corners are all bent because they won't even stay upright. So I think they've decided that they've had to cut back on their releases. Now, one would argue that they're the #1 publisher in comics, so why Boom can find paper but Marvel can't is a pretty big question. But
They pump
don't
through
know.
it faster.
maybe, but
Yeah, that's the only question. That's the only way I would. Yeah.
but you would think that they could secure it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. All right. You want to get to what's coming next week before we talk about more books?
Yeah. So
what we're
we've got-
planning on, anyways.
what we're planning on is Bloodstained Teeth, issue #1
From Image, right?
from Image Comics, and then
That's promising.
either the Last Ronin issue 5 or nothing, because I
know.
refuse to talk about Amazing Spider-Man #1 or another X book. So
I think I'm
which
going
are
to
the
try
only number
Amazing
ones.
Spider-Man #1, but
Yeah, I'm not. If you read it, you could talk about it.
Thanks.
We'll talk about the Last Ronin
yeah,
#5 either way, because it's the end of the run, which has been
Right.
really, really good. So,
yeah.
But as far as the number
So,
ones
it's
go,
a 3-year run, isn't it?
it is for 5 issues. So
Crazy.
yeah, it was like Gilligan's 3-hour tour.
I know. They had, yeah. That it
So,
seems like only not yesterday when 1 came out. We were so excited.
oh, it was well over a year ago, probably more than that. So,
Oh God, yeah, well over a
Yeah.
year ago. It was a couple of years ago, I think.
yeah, it's
yeah.
definitely been crazy to get 5 issues of that book, but I've enjoyed it. I don't remember it now. Like to go to issue 5, I'll probably have to read 4 again just to remember what was happening, which is such a shame because like if I have to read 4 again just to read 5, I might just skip 5.
You'll catch up. They're usually pretty good at that stuff at the beginning of the book too. You know, you'd be, oh, okay. Yeah. I was at the first couple issues I bought at Friendly Neighborhood.
Oh yeah,
I
that was a
haven't
while
even been
ago then.
open in a while. Couple of years. It was right after the pandemic they closed. So, yeah.
True.
Yeah, they've been no, they've been closed over a year. Just over a year.
Yeah.
They closed, unfortunately. So, yeah. All right. What else did you read this week?
World's Finest number 2. Batman Superman World's Finest.
I didn't get to that yet.
Loved it.
Excellent.
Thought it was just as much fun as the first one. It should really be Batman and Robin and Superman World's Finest because this is definitely, there's a lot of Robin here, which was great. And there was a lot of interaction with Robin and Supergirl that was fun and unexpected.
Yeah.
So pretty good. I like that. And then I wrote down Nightwing 91, but now I'm struggling to remember anything about it. I must have really liked it because I wrote it down.
Nightwing and the Flash, remember?
Yeah.
And it was actually really good.
Yes, but no. Like I remember, but I don't remember anything that happened. So
they went after now I'm mixing it up with Joker, I think.
Yeah.
Who did they go? Oh, who shot Nightwing?
Oh, KG Beast.
KG Beast. That's it.
KG Beast.
Yeah, I was
That's
mixing
right,
the two up. So, and Flash went after him, and he's like, "You'll never do that again. You almost
that
took
was
my
actually
friend
really.
from
That's
me."
probably why I wrote it down. But then I couldn't remember.
It was really good. It had some really good humor in it too, because Wally's hysterical.
Well, Wally and Dick are both. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like, what did Wally say? Something like, he's like, "Aren't you nervous about leaving?" Oh, Dick asked him, "Aren't you nervous about leaving your family at home?" And he goes, "No, because I don't go on the news as Wally and tell the world."
Right.
He's like, "Nobody knows who I am."
Well, and then he says, "Plus, I check on them like a couple of times every hour."
Right.
And then,
that was pretty cool.
Then Dick said something. I can't remember exactly what he said.
And he goes,
Wally
"I know."
was like, "I check on you a couple of times every hour too."
Ever since you said that.
That's cool, but kind of stalkery.
No, he said, no, he said, he goes, "Oh, is that kind of," and then Wally interrupted him and said, "Stalkery?" And he goes, "Well, yeah. But appreciated." That's what he ended up saying to him. So, but that was pretty cool.
Funny, though.
It is, I love when they do little things like that you don't even, like things you haven't even thought of that the Flash can do. It's like he could just like swing in and check on you and you don't even know he was there.
Right.
It's like, you're like, what the heck was that? You don't even know.
Well, I felt the breeze. Yeah, I felt the breeze.
Right. And they described it at the beginning of the book too, when like Dick's in the middle and all the bad guys are around or whatever. And he goes, all of a sudden, you just watch their guns go away. Right. Because they're all standing there holding the gun on them. And it's like, now they're gone. Because it's fun. It was a fun read. I missed out on World's Finest. Didn't get to that yet. Read the Joker. That was good. That one's getting a little old. I feel
it is. It's kind of run its course.
Yeah.
which I thought it was only
That's all
like
I have
12
to say
issues,
about that.
but it's like already been 13, so
Yeah.
I guess it's going on forever. I don't know. I thought it was a limited thing. Nothing else really stood out. Like,
I'm trying to think.
I
of
read a
something else
bunch,
that-
but nothing else really stuck out. Like I said, I really enjoyed World's Finest #2. I was hoping that it wouldn't be let down from the first issue, but it wasn't. It was still a lot of fun.
Yeah, cool. I'll have to check that out for next week.
Yeah.
All right. Will that do it for checkout? You want to get to Real World?
Sure.
Get this show on the road. All righty. There we go. All right, John.
All right.
Go ahead.
So, I don't have a ton this week. I mean,
Nice.
a little bit more, but not a lot. I did watch a lot more Dark. Pretty much watched all of season 2 on Saturday when I was homesick. So, I'm getting ready to get into season 3. I still haven't figured it out yet, but still enjoying that.
How many episodes in and you haven't figured it out?
18. 18 in, 8 left.
Sounds enticing.
I know what's happening. It's just super hard to follow. Like, you've really got to be paying attention because
didn't you say that earlier? You can't pick your phone up and stuff. You really got to
can't because you're spending time with characters in 3 different 33-year intervals of their lives. So they're different actors playing them. You know, one's a kid, one's an adult, and one's like an older person. And so keeping them all connected to like, oh, that old lady is the little girl that did this. And it's
kind of like Foundation with, what is it? Dawn,
a little
Day
bit,
and Dusk,
yeah.
something like that. Is that what they
a
would
little
call
bit. You just have to really be on like into it and invested in it. But it's really good. I'm enjoying that. First 2 episodes of Better Call Saul season 6 dropped this week, so I really enjoy Better Call Saul. So you probably won't watch it because you haven't watched Breaking Bad or seasons 1 through 5, but
no.
But it's a really good show. Now, again, it's a show that you don't have to have watched Breaking Bad because this is a prequel to that show. So,
okay.
Like you don't have to watch Breaking Bad. Saul in Breaking Bad is later than anything that happens in this show. You know what I mean?
I got another one that'll get people riled up.
Okay.
Jen and I started Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
we don't see the hype.
It's really good.
We were like, okay. I don't know if we just came in late and maybe it was really good. So you have, like, at the time that it came out, it was really good. But now, compared to all the content coming out now, it's just kind of.
Well, I don't know. I mean, but how much did you give it? Did you get 1 episode?
No. We watched, we got pretty far into it, but I'm not saying it's bad by any stretch.
Yeah.
But I don't understand, people say it's like the greatest show ever.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I don't know if I go there.
That's all I'm saying. We don't understand the hype. That doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah.
It just means and when somebody comes off, it's like, this is the greatest show. And not just somebody. I know a lot of people think that is one of the best shows ever. And I'm like,
it's one of, again, I think it's one of them also, but I don't know what the best show ever would be, but
yeah, like Sopranos, I see how people say that a little bit more than Breaking Bad. But I think that's probably the better example of what I'm trying to say is because if you watch Sopranos now, especially the early episodes compared to what we get now, if that was brand new right now, what you would see, you'd be like, this is so cheap. This is so bad.
Well, it might be, yeah, because I haven't gone back to The Sopranos in a while either.
But it wouldn't, I mean, the story's still good, but the production and everything like that, you'd be like, this is weird. This doesn't. So coming into it, having never watched it, having never really seen it, when you come into it, you're like, I don't get the hype. But I'm also not 20 years ago. like with Sopranos, or even what Breaking Bad was like 15, 16 years ago, something like that.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah,
So,
probably 15 years ago.
It's good.
Because hell,
but-
we're 6 seasons into Better Call Saul, which came after Breaking Bad,
okay.
which ran for 6 seasons, and there was probably a break in between.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's probably at least 15 years.
Yeah.
Well, I will go out on a limb and say Better Call Saul might be better than Breaking Bad.
Oh,
you
really?
know, and
I know
like
a lot
it
of people
lot.
like that. Yeah.
I really do like it. Now, again, maybe it's recency bias
Mhm.
because I haven't seen Breaking Bad in a while, but I really enjoy Better Call Saul.
Good.
So I started that. Also started the first 2 episodes of The Flight Attendant, season 2. Dropped Friday, I believe, or Thursday, and we watched those. Yeah, seems good. Pretty much the same as season 1 so far. You know, she doesn't listen to what she's told and gets involved in more than she should have.
Yeah.
Looks like she's going to be framed for another murder, just like season 1. So, but yeah, I don't know. I liked the season 1 a lot. This one so far seems good. So, if you haven't started that yet, you should. First episode of Barry, season 3, dropped on Sunday. So I watched that. I don't know if have you seen Barry at all on HBO Max?
We have breaking news.
Okay.
Breaking news. Comic book resources just came from Martin at Geekvine 19 seconds ago on my phone, 10 minutes ago on Comic Book Resources. Warner Brothers announces a sequel to Matt Reeves' The Batman with Robert Pattinson returning as the Dark Knight. Details here. So they're announcing
Is
it
that
already.
breaking news?
I don't know.
It was announced 6 months ago that the Batman was a trilogy. So-
Well, if I think they wanted to, but that's what they're saying. Warner Brothers announces a sequel. So this is what it was.
Okay.
And it just came out
Awesome.
10 minutes ago. So,
Fantastic.
and by the time people hear this tomorrow, it will have been yesterday's news. So.
It'll be broke news. Yeah.
Right. But hey, not often that I could have saved that for next week. And I was going to, because he tagged us in it. So it would have been in our mailbag next week, but also our news. But at the same time, I'm like, that's going to be old news by next week. So there you go.
Yeah.
And I just hit the first sounder I had. We don't have a breaking news sound. But yes, sorry to interrupt. But yes, I thought that was pretty
No
cool,
problem.
though. So, all right.
No problem. All right. So back to my question. Have you watched Barry on HBO Max?
No, I haven't.
Great.
Is that one Jen can watch?
Yes.
What's it about?
Bill Hader. Heater. I'm not
Yeah.
sure how to pronounce his name.
Pretty sure it's
Henry
Hader.
Winkler is in it. Henry Winkler is fantastic in it. Bill Hader, whatever, he's a serial killer. He's not a serial killer. He's a contract killer, and he wants to get out of the business, and so he decides he wants to become an actor. So he starts taking acting classes at Henry Winkler's acting school. But of course, he has a past, and he has the people that he used to work for don't want him to be out of the business, and so just like you would expect, he keeps getting pulled back in to the contract killing business. But he's dating an actress from that, from this class, and he's got Henry Winkler, and he's trying to do the straight and narrow stuff. But it's really good. It's like a 30-minute comedy. It's a dark comedy for sure, because there's people getting killed, but there's some
But are
great
they bad
characters in it.
people?
Mostly, but not all.
Oh, okay.
Not all, because as what you would expect, you have to kill people to protect your secrets,
Yeah.
and you have to kill people so people don't figure out you're a killer. But yeah, I don't know, just the characters in it. The Henry Winkler character is great. His other boss, I can't think of the actor's name, but you'll know him instantly when you see him. He used to play on news radio. He was in he's been in a million things. Like I said, you'll know him when you see him. But it's a good show. So, anyways, season 3 dropped Sunday, first episode. We watched that. And then we watched Inventing Anna.
Hey.
And only you're talking about it so many times kept me watching it.
I know.
Initially.
She's hard. Yeah. It's hard. It's a hard watch. That's what I told you.
She was so annoying.
Yes.
And it was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can put up with this. But then you start getting sucked in. After a couple of episodes, you get sucked in. But I really was about to call it quits after 2. And I was like, I just can't take her.
Right.
But yeah, it's kind of fascinating and still not explained. Like at the end of the day, I guess you don't still know where she got her money from.
Well, wait till you get to the end. When you get to the end.
No, I'm done. I'm done.
You finished it?
Like we're done. Yeah,
we're plowed through it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we watched the whole thing between Saturday night and Sunday. We watched all of it. You know where she got it once she got going, but there was that whole line of like when she first blew into New York, she came with money and nobody knows where it came from.
Right.
That's what set my girl going to Germany to try to track down the dad because she wasn't 100% sure. And so you still never really find out where she got bankrolled initially. If the dad had anything,
I think she manipulated her way there. I don't think she, you know what I mean? I think the entire thing was her manipulating everything.
Yeah.
The one, I got 2 things I wanted to say to you about it, but one of them was, I thought of it was a lot like a female version of Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah.
Which was also a true story. And much like at the end of that, you're like, how did he do what he did? How did he keep doing it? How did he pass the bar? We still don't know that, right? Never went to school for it, never did anything, but he's just that smart. And she's to me, I felt like it was a lot of the same situations. Like you were like, how is she doing this? She's just that smart. She's just that observant, right? Even towards the end, when you see her high school days and she's going into school and then how she manipulated the kids there and did everything, right? So she had that mindset, that brain to be able to do that. But what you find, or what I felt like by the end of it, the entire thing, it wasn't a story. The meat of it was about Anna, but the story was about the reporter. And that's why
it was. The show was really about the reporter.
Right? Getting this story out. Otherwise, we don't have this. So it's like, and I kind of like the title of it. I didn't want to say any of that to you until you'd seen it. But like the title of it, Inventing Anna, it's like Anna's inventing Anna, but so is the reporter. She's also bringing Anna into the light so that we all know, like, this stuff is going on. Like, imagine if the reporter didn't dig as hard as she did.
Right.
Anna still did all the stuff that she did.
Right.
Right. But we don't know about it. Maybe she doesn't go to jail. That's the other part. Like maybe none of this happens if she doesn't dig as hard as she did.
Right.
I don't know. But it's a fascinating story. But you are so, even I thought even the last couple of episodes, you were so aggravated with her. She is so whiny. She is, I said it, Braden and I were talking about
voice is so bad.
Which is great on I can't remember the actress's name, but she is fantastic.
Julie Delpy or Julia.
Something like that. She plays Ruth on Ozark. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't think of her name, but
she's so great at it because you really are like, I said to Braden when I was talking to him, because he asked me if I'd seen it and he had watched it. And I'm like, you're just so aggravated with her. But it's when she was like, she started crying. If I was a man, you wouldn't treat him like I would treat you exactly like this if a man acted that way. Like
actually, if you're a man, I'd probably punched you.
I know, exactly.
I would have punched you right in the face.
But I'm like you're doing this because I'm a woman. No, I'm not. I'm doing that because you're crying. You're acting this way.
What got me? The only thing that got me really was that, like in the end, they were on her side. Like the reporter character, she was on her side.
Yeah.
Like she wanted her to, like they were upset that she got convicted and they were on her side. And it's like, why are you rooting for her? Like,
Right.
she's terrible, It's like
The one woman that worked at the hotel that had like, she wanted to be, she's like, she understood Anna. She's like, I know who she is.
She did.
I get her. She almost burned her, but the reason she understood her is because Anna did take care of her.
Yeah.
But I loved the part when her friend there that ended up going on the vacation with her and kept putting down the credit card to cover Anna.
Yeah, Rachel.
Yeah. I loved that she got burned because I loved it. It was like, at first you thought she was a victim. But then when they went and talked to the woman at the hotel and that worked at the hotel, she goes, yeah, she's no victim. She put her card down. She wanted that lifestyle. She was playing it up. And then they replay everything for you to see it through that lens. And you're like, holy crap. And it's like, that's why, what was it? Or American Express? The American Express, this isn't fraud. You knew what you were doing. Yeah, but she said you'd pay you back. That's your problem, not mine. Don't put your card down, you idiot. It's like, your card wasn't stolen. You handed it over.
But like when they were fleeing the hotel, that like Rachel and her boyfriend there or whatever, were fleeing the hotel in the middle of the night. Like as I was driving to the airport, I'd be on the phone with American Express canceling those credit cards, reporting them lost or stolen.
Right.
It's like, why didn't you not do that? Because that's what I said. Oh, hop in that car and then call and cancel those credit cards. And then, Anna's screwed, but you're fine. You're already on a plane back to America. So
$60,000, blah, blah, and then she ended up making.
That's Anna's problem, though.
I know. No, but I'm saying that woman, that Rachel, what was it? Rachel, you said?
Yeah, Rachel.
I forget. Yeah. She was a piece of work. And I love when they buried her on the stand. That was great. I was like, yes.
It turned out to be interesting, but I was
super interesting. Yeah.
I was actually looking to like ditch it after the first couple of episodes because I wasn't sure if I could take her for 7 more hours.
Yeah.
But
the early
there was
stuff
a lot of it wasn't with her though. You know what I mean? There was a lot of stuff without her. So that made it a little bit more bearable.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it was good.
Plus I need to find an interview with that actress to see what she really sounds like. Because her character on Ozark is pretty annoying too. It's like, are these all characters that you're choosing, or is this really you?
Yeah, yeah. She's actually not an actor at all.
She's Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, I was just gonna say she's just Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, exactly. Oh, you know what we missed in news? Is it Netflix? Maybe no, because it's live action. Voltron. Defender of the Universe is going
to Amazon Prime, probably.
Oh, is it Amazon Prime?
I think it's Amazon, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Live-action Voltron. Which is weird because Netflix has the animated version.
Yeah, I'm watching that on Netflix. And but yeah, that would be fantastic if we get that live action. That would be so much fun to see.
Just keep Michael Bay away from it. We'll be all right. Although he's like the only one to go to, right? There's nobody else to go to.
Well, if you want to destroy the planet, Roland Emmerich could.
Well, that's true. But he's the giant robot guy, so it's got to be.
Who did Pacific Rim?
Michael Bay. Oh, I don't know. I don't know who did that.
You could do that. Yeah, Voltron would be fantastic.
Yeah,
that would be good. Live action. All right. What else? You got anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. Let's see. I am almost done with The Expanse season 4. Last week I just finished 3, and now I have 1 episode. I'm doing episode 10 of season 4 tomorrow, so then I'll be into 5, which means I only have 16 left because the last season's only 6 episodes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Really good. Loving that series. Yeah. I'm actually finding people that haven't heard of it before, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, I've talked to a few people, on my own and not podcasting, but and they're like,
Right.
oh, I'm like, oh, check it out.
Yeah, if you
it's
like
really
good sci-fi, it's a
Yeah.
great show.
Yeah, it's really good. Slow at the beginning. I always say that. Slow at the beginning, but it's all world building, and you'll appreciate all of it later.
Yeah.
Really a lot of fun. I am way behind on Halo, Joe and I. I'm way behind, not way behind. I haven't even seen Moon Knight from last week yet.
Really?
Yeah, we haven't, because Joe and I watched it together, and just before I came down to record, I'm like, Joe, we haven't seen Moon Knight yet. And he goes, I'm sorry. I'm like, no, don't apologize. So I haven't seen that yet, and didn't see last week's Picard yet either. So,
Oh, okay. I did watch all of those.
is
So,
Moon Knight
I'm
over?
caught up on it.
Or is there one more?
No, Moon Knight's got 6. So there's only 4 so far.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's 2 more. Yeah,
See,
there's
I'm
2 more.
so in the dark.
And I thought Picard, like last week I said Picard only had 1 more, but there's actually like 3 more. They've got
nice.
12 episodes.
Okay.
So
All
there's
right.
a few more of that.
Excellent. I am almost pretty much caught up on Endgame on Peacock. That's pretty good.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, I like that show.
yeah, isn't it? It's really
Yeah.
It's kind of shifted the way everything's
Little bit,
going.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's still like a lot. I'm not too I will have one critique about Marina Baccarin's accent. Not too
Yeah.
crazy about her doing that. I'm like, I get it
Yeah.
why she has to for the character, but maybe we could have done it without it. I don't know.
Right.
Not crazy about it. But then going to movies over there on the Kaleidoscape, Uncharted came out today.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, I got up this morning.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, me neither. I'm really looking forward to it. I pre-ordered it like a month ago, and I woke up this morning.
Yeah, good thing. They might have run out.
Yeah. Well, no, you get what's nice is when you pre-order it, you just get it. They don't even announce it to you. You just get. I get up and I'll look on my phone and I'll get an alert that I always check my downloads for stuff because I have another one pre-ordered. Oh yeah, Morbius. I told you about that.
Oh yeah.
I already
you
bought
showed me.
Morbius too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm looking forward to checking that out. I'll probably be able to tell you about it next week.
Cool.
Gravity. Watch that. Watch a little bit of that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really nice. That has Atmos on it.
I say, does it have Atmos?
On Kaleidoscape, yes.
Yeah, because you can't buy the disc with Atmos.
Not anymore. You can. There is the Diamond Lux edition that if you could track it down.
Like over market prices.
Yeah,
for it.
I have the Diamond Lux edition, but I bought it at regular price when it came out. So, but now it's just it's like not in print anymore, so it's hard to find.
But that's Blu-ray, not 4K.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. Even on even on
on Kaleidoscape.
Kaleidoscape, it's Blu-ray with Atmos.
1080p.
1080p with that, but it looks fantastic. Looks and sounds
I'm sure.
awesome. So
well,
good.
plus your system's upscaling anyway, so
Yeah. You know what else that looked really nice? Solo.
Oh yeah.
Really enjoyed it. Stole a Star Wars story. Really enjoyed it. I was not a big fan of the HDR and that. No, the way it was I didn't like it. And now I am.
Okay.
I want to watch some more of it. Like, want to watch the opening scene again. It really looked really nice. It rejuvenated my. I always liked the movie. I love the story. I always had a fun time with the movie and the sound and everything. I just wasn't crazy about the picture. Really nice. Another one I got sucked into. Avengers Age of Ultron.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That plays so much larger now since Endgame.
Yeah.
And watching that movie again and all of the different things that take place, Thor sees Endgame, and it's in there. It's like the gauntlets in there, the stones coming together on it. It's all, there's all of this stuff. So good. Really good. Deadpool 1 and 2.
Oh yeah.
I
those are great movies.
Yes. Yeah. Ryan Reynolds,
Yeah.
Watched obviously the Batman, but I've also done, but you don't want to buy it. I really enjoyed the Matt Reeves commentary, and I'm hoping that it's available to people on disc and stuff, because right now it's only on the iTunes streaming. And if you're only going to buy it in one place and you don't really care about the physical media, I recommend getting the iTunes then, because I really enjoyed them. I've listened to the entirety of it, and the stuff he talks about comics, he talks about what he drew upon, all the stuff that we talked about, Long Halloween and stuff. And he goes, and he says, like, right here, I'm thinking of this and this, and why he has them act the way they act. So it was such a cool thing watching him or listening to him break down, like even just that scene at the beginning when Robert Pattinson's that opening scene when he walks into the crime scene, right, as Batman.
Right. And
listening to Matt Reeves explain how you're directing Robert Pattinson on how to act like Batman at a crime scene. He goes, what do you draw upon?
Right.
How do you act like a superhero standing there in the middle of a crime scene and not be like a donkey? Feel like a donkey, right? Because in any reality, we're all like, why is this guy dressed like a bat?
Right.
But you have to act, and everybody around you has to act like you're a cool,
like it's totally normal, right?
Not normal, but like, oh my God. So, but the way he acted, asked him to move, and the way Robert Pattinson actually did move, and as he's saying it, you're seeing the scene play out, and you're seeing Robert Pattinson move and how they edited it and everything. Just really cool stuff like that. Really drawing upon what it means to be Batman, and it's I'm really I mean, for what Matt Reeves is doing, I think by the end of this series, this 3-movie series, I think this is going to be the quintessential Batman, because if you listen to listening to Matt Reeves, I think he has so much more in store for developing Bruce Wayne, right? And like how everybody is like, this is just the first iteration of it, and the first, like, we're just seeing Bruce Wayne as the young Bruce Wayne, and he's going to develop him. And I'm hopeful, because of Pattinson's age, that he can play he's too old to be the young Bruce Wayne, but he just did play it, and we bought it. Now they can probably age him. Maybe they jump ahead. That's my hope anyways. And then after that, the third one, maybe we can get an older one and really get like the quintessential Batman here. The other thing I did is I went back and watched The Dark Knight too. After the amount of the Batman that I've watched and that costume and Robert Pattinson, when you go back and see when you, it's awful. That the Christopher Nolan, and watching that Batman costume, it makes you feel like you're going back to seeing Batman 89, and you're seeing Michael Keaton. And it's just, that costume just doesn't work as well anymore since the Batman.
Right.
It just, you gotta check it out. It's pretty funny that the rubber hat, the rubber helmet, or cowl, I'm sorry. But yeah, so, but yeah. And
cool.
that, some Lord of the Rings, Two Towers type stuff, messing around.
You probably put more hours in front of the TV this week than I did, but
I
just don't watch shows.
Right, I don't watch shows, and I'll jump to scenes, and I'll be able to bounce in and out. And it's like when I get a minute to do something, it's like, but like The Expanse, I do every morning, and I'm really enjoying that. Before I get up, I watch that, and that takes me like an hour. But then when I can get a moment or two to watch something, and I'll come down and I'll watch a bunch of different things, and I can do that. So, yeah, it's like all of these movies I'm talking, like of Age of Ultron, I watched the whole thing, almost all of Solo, probably only like a third of Gravity, maybe half of Deadpool 2, just looking at scenes, watching it, and just getting enthralled and stuff. And the audio commentary on the Batman I do when I go to bed. I put it on the TV and just listen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, pretty cool.
Cool.
So, that's it, though. That's it.
All right.
All right. That will wrap it up for this week. Not bad. Hour 35.
Yeah.
We're cooking along. But yeah, everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks for following along. If you'd like to participate, you can tweet at us at brightside_chat or at Arkham Comics with an X, and then I'll tell John all about it so he can participate too.
That's right.
But no trucking this week, John. Just the one.
Dang.
The streak continues, but you're not trucking. So maybe next week. Until then, have a great week, everybody.
Take care, everyone.